cards, right? We used bootstrap cards. How to design the cards and work with the bootstrap cards, right? We designed one example working with the cards. Yeah, in bootstrap components, what are the components we already learned? So in the bootstrap components, we learned about margins, alerts, and badges, buttons. Am I right? Badges, buttons, cards also we discussed, right? Good. Have you practiced all these? Have you practiced all these? Are you clear with this? Good. Right, that's good. Right. Okay, now today we will see the other bootstrap components. Yeah, notes I will upload. Notes I will upload related to all these contents. Notes I will upload. Okay. Yeah, fine. Right. Okay. Now today we are going to discuss about working with another important is how to deal with carousel in bootstrap. Actually, carousel is nothing but in almost every website you will see scrolling titles and captions. Titles will be scrolling, captions will be scrolling, slidings, images, slideshows, banners, all these are done through carousel. Right? So important classes that are required for carousels to create such carousels we will see. Actually, for that we have a class called carousel. We have carousel inner. We have carousel item, and we use the classes like active and like slide and like fade. These are the options that we use for carousel. And carousel have an option called data ride. Data ride is a jQuery attribute. It is a jQuery attribute which is used for starting the carousel. We need to use this data ride. We will see one example how to create carousel. Carousel inner, carousel item. First, basic how to create the carousels. For that, actually, we need some slides, some banners. From internet, you can download and get the banners. So you can download and get the banners. So how to get in my computer already I have some images. I have some images here, and this is shopping, right? Yeah. So eBay, fine. So we have some images here, some images like banners. We have banner 1, banner 2, banner 3, like images are present. We can use those images here. So I will take these banners. Let's me take some small ones so that it will be easy. You can download from online. Yep. So suppose I have these banners. Banner 1, slide 2, slide 3. I will take these 3 slides. Okay. So these are the banners, carousel related banners, and let's keep in our website full stack images. So we will keep those images. So slide 1, slide 2, slide 3. These are PNG files. All the 3 are PNG files. I'm having those PNG files. I will use them. I will use those PNG files. Okay, now let's see how to create a carousel. How we can create a carousel, how we can manage the carousel. So first, let's add a new file. So say carousel demo.html, and let's design. So doc type HTML head. You need all the files. Link relation is equal to style sheet, and href is equal to, so node modules bootstrap dist css bootstrap.css, the original bootstrap file, and you need script source is equal to node modules in that jQuery dist jQuery.js, that is the jQuery file, and you need another script source is equal to node modules bootstrap dist js bootstrap.js bundle.js. You need these files. These are common, and in the body section I will add here I will add here a simple container fluid. Okay, so class as container fluid. Okay, next here I am adding a div. First important is this is the main div. This is the main container div, and in this main container div, so we have to define carousel. That means we have to add the class. So we have to define carousel. So carousel. We have to define the class carousel. Okay. Inside the carousel, you have to add another carousel inner. Carousel inner. Carousel inner. You have to define carousel inner. So inside carousel inner, you will have carousel items. Carousel items. So that means carousel. In the carousel, we have carousel inner. In the carousel inner, you will have carousel items. You need carousel items. That means again a div. That means every slide is considered as an item. So I say carousel item. This is one slide. In this, I want a picture. IMG, SRC. It is images. So that is slide one.png. Okay. This image should display block. We have display inline, display block. That means only one image should be there. There should not be anything side by side. Then we can apply the class called dBlock. dBlock is display block. You can apply display block, and W100. So that means width 100%. I told you M for margin, P for padding, D for display, W for width, H for height, right? So width I given as 100 pixels, 100 pixels, that 100% actually. That means it will fit into it. Okay. So this is first item. Similarly, remember, many people ask this question like, can I use text? You can use text also. You can put a heading. It's not mandatory that carousel item must be only a picture. You can have picture, you can have text and picture, your wish. You can put anything inside that container. Okay. You can even put forms, you can put anything inside that container. Okay, similarly, I need 3 items. So this is one carousel item. Second carousel item is slide 2. And third carousel item is slide 3. Slide 3. So the parent is carousel. Inside the carousel, carousel inner. Inside carousel inner, carousel items. We have defined the carousel items. Okay. Now once you run this, you can see that when you run this, you will see by default, no image is coming here. By default, no image will be there. Why? Because you have to tell which item to active. So I want first item to active, then that carousel item should use a class called active. So that item will be active. Okay. Once you give active, now you can see, so that item is active. But that first item is active. Any item you can make active. Only one can be active. Okay. So this is active. Now it is not changing. So it has to change. If it has to change, then we have to add a jQuery attribute called data ride. Data ride. Data ride is equal to, so carousel. Carousel have to start animation. Data ride indicates start animation for carousel. This is only the option data ride. You need the option for that data ride. You need to define that data ride. Okay. Yeah. Now once you define data ride, observe carefully. So carousel, that means the carousel should start the animation. Okay. You see here, first slide is displayed, and second slide, third slide. So three slides are there. The other slides are not displaying. Other slides are not displaying. Only data ride you have defined. Why? Because for carousel, you have to even tell how should be the animation. Two types of animations you can have. So for carousel, when you define carousel, you can write here carousel. So yeah, sorry, data ride you have to write for carousel. You see, data ride I have to write for carousel, not for carousel item. I have to write for carousel. Data ride is equal to carousel. Okay. Now you observe here, once I refresh here, you see the images. So this is slide one. It is the slide one. Slide two is coming. And after that, slide three will come. The three slides are changing. The three slides are changing, but without any animation. You can give two types of animation. One, carousel. For carousel, you can put slide animation, slide. If I say carousel slide, you can see that when I refresh, the images will have slide animation. This is slide animation. This is what generally you see. You can keep another animation. Instead of slide animation, you can keep fade animation. You can keep fade animation. Fade animation is nothing but actually fade animation is for dissolve and display the images. Dissolve and display the images. But for fade animation, you need some more jQuery attribute. I will tell you. That means carousel can have two animations. One is slide, another one is fade. Fade how to give, I will tell you. Initially, this is the basic carousel that you will see almost in all websites. It is like this. So here a lot of points are there. Initial carousel we designed. Okay. But you see generally there will be previous, next buttons, right side and left side corners. You will see that. So that user can manually also go back to previous slide, come back to the next slide. He can change. So for carousels, what you can do is, this is the basic carousel. Here we designed carousel and carousel inner and carousel items. For carousels, you can keep indicators. Carousel can have indicators. Indicators. Carousel indicators are used for two options are there. We have indicators, we have controls. Controls. So Carousel controls are there, carousel indicators are there, both. I will show you both how to handle them. Let's see first carousel controls. Controls are nothing but carousel controls are used for previous and next. Previous and next. So that means you can move to the previous slide, next slide. Indicators advantage is indicators allows to go to any slide, any slide. That means they will indicate in which slide you are present and they will allow you to go to any slide. So if you want in order, in a sequence, then you can use controls. If you want, so not in sequence, if you want like go random, then use indicators. How to put these controls and indicators? Let's see. Currently our carousel is not having any indicator. We can keep carousel with indicators. We can keep with indicators and controls. First, we will see how to put controls. For actually controls, so to put controls, you have two important things. What you can do is you can use carousel, 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 control, previous. This is for previous button. This is for previous button. And for previous button, we need an icon, right? Then for that, carousel, control, control, previous, icon. You have icon. We have icon. We have carousel, carousel, control, similarly next. That is next button. And carousel, control, carousel, control, next icon. Next icon. You have next icon. And here very important is you have to use data slide. Data slide is an attribute, jQuery attribute. Data slide tells to which slide you want to go. That means data slide can be two ways. Data slide can be to the previous or it can use to the next. It can use next. These two words you can use, previous and next. Data slide, so previous or data slide next. You can go into the previous and next. So you can handle anything. So only these two are available, controls, next, previous icon. How to add these, let's see. After designing the basic carousel, what we have to do is, so this is carousel inner. So in the carousel inner, we have carousel items. Okay. After carousel inner is finished, that means all the carousel slides are mentioned. Inside the carousel only, you observe inside the carousel. That means actually carousel inner is finished. That means here I will put a comment. So carousel inner ends. After carousel inner ends, so you can put your controls. So carousel controls, controls. You can put carousel controls. How to put the carousel controls? Carousel controls, just very simple. You have to put two links. So we have one link. Okay, this is for previous. Another link. This is for next. Previous and next. We have two links. And very important is these two links are, one is carousel previous, another one is carousel next. So that means they have to use the class carousel, carousel previous, item previous, carousel item previous. So that means here carousel control previous. Okay, this is control previous. This is the carousel control previous. Okay, fine. And this is the class carousel control next. Carousel control next. This is carousel control next. Now they need icon. Icon is by using a span. I will put a class carousel You can use your fav icons also. Here carousel control previous icon, and inside this also we have a span. We have a span, and we will put the class as carousel control. So next icon, we have next icon. So previous icon, next icon. And very important, these links should work as buttons. Then we use a role as button. This is having a button role. Both will have the role. Both will have the role button. That means both are having the button role. Okay. Now comes important. These two should work for. So link needs href. These should work for carousel. So our carousel is not having any name because in a page there can be several carousels. Now you have to tell to which control these buttons should work, right? To which carousel these buttons should work. Then I will put an ID. I will put an ID like main carousel. I will keep main carousel. So these href, anchors href will be to the main carousel. Href is equal to hash main carousel, and this also href is equal to hash main carousel. Now you can observe here. So the controls are added. You see in this, when I refresh, the controls are added. Observe carefully. Right side and left side, two controls are there, two buttons are there. Because this image is dominating, right? You can see that. Let's refresh. You can see the images will slide. You can see the previous and next icons are present. Previous icon, next icon, left side, right side, corner. You can see two icons are present. Two icons are present there, right? So, but actually those are not working currently. Only icons are present. They are not working. We can make them work. So user clicks on that, it will go to next or previous. So very simple. What we have to do is, when user clicks on this first one, then we have to use the option data slide, slide to previous, just prev, right? Previous. And this one, this should data slide to next. Those are the keywords. You have to use the keywords previous and next. You have to use the keywords previous and next. So I'm using the previous and next. Okay, save it. So it is done. It is done. Okay, now once refresh and see. Data slide indicates to which slide. Now right side I am clicking, then it will get to the next one. I click on this, will come to the next one. So 1 second. Yeah. So you can see I click on previous, then previous slide will come, click on next slide will come. But you have to go in a sequential order. Data slide to previous, data slide to next. Colors, symbols, everything you can change. Why? Because you know na bootstrap classes we can override. So you can go to the bootstrap class, you can override, and you can make changes of those colors effects. You can put your own icons. It's not mandatory that you have to use only bootstrap icon for previous and next. Why? Because you have font awesome. You can use anything. Just it is a container, you can put anywhere, any icon there, any symbol there, right? It's not necessary that it should be in the same way. Okay. Now here one problem is, suppose you are creating banners. In some websites, generally what you do, you have to show like slideshow, like gallery. Some university, their photo gallery, 20-30 photos will be there. So then you can put like this, next, or previous, or you can put carousel indicators. Indicators allows to know currently in which slide they are. Now problem is, we are very much confused which one is first slide, which one is second slide. I want to go to first slide, I want to go to third slide. Then in that case, several issues will come. So that is the reason we need indicators. What is the advantage of indicators is, indicators allows to easily go to any specific slide we want. Any specific slide you want, you can use indicators. Let's put indicators also. So for carousel, let's keep the indicators. These banners and all you can change according to your requirement. So I have taken only these. Sometimes website have large banners. So your wish. So normal photos. Now carousel indicators. For carousel indicators, actually you have an option, carousel indicators. Carousel indicators. That is the option. That's it. So this carousel indicators you have to use. Carousel indicators you have to use. Generally, we design these indicators by using an ordered list or unordered list. Indicators, so we have to design, and one simple attribute we have to use. Data target. Data target is carousel name. Carousel name. You have to tell the carousel name. Data target is carousel name, and data slide to. Data slide to, you have to tell the number. It will be from 0 or 1 or 2, 3, 4, which slide you want. Index number starts with 0, right? You can slide to any specific number that you can write by using data slide to. That's how we use indicators. Let's add indicators also. So to add indicators, so I will go here, I will go above. So generally you can add outside the inner, above the inner, below the inner, you can add anywhere, no problem. So indicators and controls are already below, indicators we will add above. So outside the carousel inner, so we are adding indicators. So here we will put carousel indicators. You can put below the controls also. I am separating so that no confusion will be there. Okay, carousel indicators, just you need an order list. Okay, list item. How many indicators? So just you have to mention list item. Only list items you have to give. So li 2. Okay, another list item li is 3. That means we have 3 items. 1, 2, and 3. 3 options are there. Okay. Now I need these as carousel indicators. Then I will put a class called, so class is equal to carousel indicators. That's it. Observe carefully. So 3 items are there, list items, and carousel indicators have to come here. And actually 3 indicators are there. Observe here, 3 bars will come. This is 1, 2, and 3. 3 indicator bars will be there. Below, you can see in the center, you have 3 bars, left, center, and right. So because we designed 3, and 3 indicators will come. Those are indicators actually. Those are indicators. So those are indicators. So that is the indicator. This is the original side. Indicators will be at the bottom, right? At the bottom, you can see indicators are there. You can see 3 indicators are there, right? Now we have to click on the indicator so that it will slide to that particular number. Okay, so then how do we write? Very simple. So this should work for the main carousel. So target is hash main carousel. Okay, data target is main carousel, and all data target main carousel, data target main carousel, data target hash main carousel. Okay, all of them data target target, so main carousel. Okay, another option, to which slide it should slide to. That means you have to tell data slide to which location. You have to tell to which location to slide. So in that case, what we have to do is we have to use another attribute. What is it? So we have to write here class. So we have to define not class, here we have to define attribute data slide to 0, data slide to 0. It should slide to 0. Then 0, you have to define the index number now. That means we have to configure the index number. So slide 2 is equal to which slide number? 0. That's how we have to write. So similarly, we have to write data slide 2 is equal to 1, and data slide 2 is equal to 2. That's how we define the index. Now you have to configure them with data target and data slide 2. Once you define these two options, you can see now, I refresh, you can see the indicators will be changing. You see indicators are there. I click on first slide, directly I will come to first slide. I click on third slide, directly I can come to third, means third indicator. You can directly go to that indicator. So first it will go to the first, second it will go to the second, third it will go to the third. That means directly it will go to that location. So indicators are good for handling the navigation randomly. So you can handle with the controls previous and next you can control. Even if you don't click previous and next, automatically they will be changing, because already you have timing defined, data slide, then automatically they will be changing. Along with automatic, you can control. Through controls you can do that. Through indicators also you can do that. Indicators. Not only that, you can set a timing for control. I mean slides. Sometimes what happens is some advertisements, so we have to give more priority because they pay more money. Then what we will do is, so out of 10 ads, one ad should be displayed more number of times, another ad some less time. Timing also you can set. For that you have to just use an attribute called data interval. You have to define data interval for every item. That means, so actually data interval is 1000 milliseconds is equal to 1 second. Suppose in current design, suppose second slide is not much important, third slide is important, first slide less important. So first slide okay, second slide is not much important. Then what I can do is, here we can set timings. So the first item, so this is the carousel items. In the carousel items, so this is the first item. So that is the first item, carousel item. Slide 1, that is the first item. Here we can set timing. How you will set the timing? It's very simple. Just what you have to do is, you have to use an attribute data interval. You have to use data interval. So I am writing here data interval. interval. Interval is equal to 2000 milliseconds. That means first will be 2 seconds. Okay, second one, data interval. Interval is equal to 1000 milliseconds. That means 1 second. It will not be more time. Third one, data interval, I will give 3000 milliseconds. That means on the screen, you can give same timing for all of them. By default, they have same timing now. You can change the timing according to the requirement. Now I will save this here and I will refresh here. I will refresh here and you can see here, you can see when I refresh, first slide 2 seconds. After that, second slide will come. Second slide immediately it changes. Third slide will stay little long. So first slide, second slide, see, there is no time. Immediately it goes. First slide 2 seconds. Second slide 1 second only. Third slide 3 seconds. So you can set time. You can set time. That means you can define so which slide, how much time it has to do. You can control that. You can configure and you can control the timings also. That you can generally manage by using these options. By using this, you can manage that. That is what generally how we can handle the carousels. So this is a very important and a very regularly used options. So that is the reason we have to know how to use the carousels and how do we work with the carousels. In the bootstrap components, so this is one important. So carousels, only carousel with carousel indicators, with carousel controls, and with carousel different types of timings. How you can add different timings and use those timings for the slides. According to the priority, you can mention them and use them. That is the carousel. So next important after the carousel, in the bootstrap components, we have bootstrap collapse. This is very important for later also. If you are designing drop downs, accordions, collapse will be more useful. Actually, collapse have 3 classes. We have collapse. Collapse is used for showing and hiding the content actually, to show and hide. Another one you have collapsing. Another we have collapse show. We have collapse show. And you also have collapse with the show, right? Generally we use collapse with the show. And we have data target, data toggler, normal things, already jQuery attributes, you know. So I will show you a simple one, collapse, how we can use the collapse and work. It's very simple. Let's create that. For that, head section is mandatory to maintain the same way. So, and here, so carousel, not carousel, collapse. Okay, collapse.html. Okay, let's create this doc type HTML, and head section is same. In the body section, just I will put a class. So container fluid, and here I am defining a simple option. So just I will keep one simple button. Okay. So under this button, I will add some content. So some content. Let's keep in a div, just roughly. So, and under that you have another div and a heading. So, and here I will use some option, bootstrap. Some bootstrap collapse. So click the button to show or hide content. That's it. Now see here, generally this is the page. And how we want that button is button here. Some show hide. Show hide is the button. Okay. And this class I will give as btn and btn primary. Okay. That is a general button available there, and you have that button. Currently, the point is here. I will just use, yeah, on button click. I want to show and hide this area. You can put a pictures, paragraphs, anything you want. You can keep that. Just very simple. First, so we need technically first we need this area which you want to collapse. So for that you have to add a class. So we have to add a class called collapse, and this should have an ID. ID is some collapse demo or demo. Demo is the ID. Just any ID you can give. Okay. And on the button click, that collapse should show or hide. That's very simple. So that means here button have to use data target. Data target is hash demo. So which one it should work for? And data toggle, it has to toggle collapse. Collapse should toggle, means on and off. Collapse should toggle on and off. Let's run this and see now. And by default, it is not displayed. By default, it is not displayed. I click on show, it will display. Again, click, it will hide. That's very simple. You can just show and hide the content. Show and hide the content by using collapse. You can manage that. You can design it. So that is very simple. That means you need an ID and you need collapse class and data target to that ID and data toggle that collapse. Actually, you can design like accordion style. If you remembered in CSS, I told you accordion. There we can use collapse, show and all. Collapse actually by default, it is not showing. If I say show, that means what happens is by default, the title will be displayed. Previously by default, it is hidden. Now by default, it is displayed. I click on it, it will hide. Okay. If you don't give show, by default, it is hidden. It is hidden. We can design like accordion also. With collapse, we can design like accordion. Accordion style, I showed you with sticky type of display. I showed you position sticky. If you remembered position sticky, we learned. And with that, we can design like accordion like styles, accordion like designs. We can create them and configure them. So how to create such accordion like contents? So I will just show you. Suppose for that, the same concept, let's create accordion like. Suppose I will put a heading. Suppose I said online some tutorial, okay. And here I'll just put a class as text primary and text center, okay. And below this, we will keep a div. Actually, in this div, we will put a class called accordion. And we need an ID, topics, okay. Under this accordion, we will keep some design. Like what we will do is, we will design a card, div, so class card. So we are creating card, okay. Yeah, we are creating a card. So card, okay. And inside this card, inside the card, so we will put a div class as card header, okay. Inside the card header, so this card header, so we will keep some title for that. So ID as some HTML topic. That is the ID for the card header, HTML topic. Okay. Now here we have to define. Actually, card header doesn't need an ID. So we don't need any ID for card header. For collapse, we will give. So initially, this is just card header. In the card header, we will just keep a button. So button, okay. And this button will have a topic HTML tutorial. Okay, that's I given. And I will just keep class as btn danger and btn block. It will occupy full, right? That's what we are giving. So that is the header. Now under the header, we will create a div. And in this div, we are designing. So a simple collapse. We will create a collapse. Like just what we are doing is, so we will put a class called collapse. And by default, we will say show. First one, it will display. So, and here in this collapse, we will design a div. So that is class body, card body. Card body will collapse now, right? That is collapse we defined for card body. Okay, in the card body, we have a heading. So that is like HTML tutorial. And under that, we kept some paragraph. Under that, we kept some paragraph. Some paragraph information we will copy and paste. So this is just an accordion style you generally see in several websites. That is the same thing here. I will copy that. That we designed with general CSS also actually. Okay, this is that tutorial. Now this card body, so which is having this content and all, and it is kept inside a div collapse. And this name I will give as, this is ID HTML collapse. HTML collapse. And it should work for, this collapse should work for accordion. Accordion ID is topics. That means it has to use data parent. Data parent is topics. So that means it has to get to the topics. Data parent is topics. It's an ID. You have to refer hash. That means this collapse should work for the accordion called topics. So this is one card. In that we have a card header and we have card body. Card body can be collapsed. Similarly, we have to design and see the ID is HTML collapse. Okay. Now on the button click, on this button click. So that means data target. It should work for HTML collapse, and it should data toggle. So data toggle. It should toggle the collapse. HTML collapse, it should toggle the collapse. So data target, it should work for HTML collapse and it should toggle the collapse. Okay. The same card we have to design for others. For other topics also, you can design the card. So this is the card. We have the card. So inside the accordion, we kept this card actually. And I will copy that card and I will keep this here, another card. And the second card I will give as, so this is as JS collapse, means JavaScript collapse. And data target is same, ID is JS collapse, JavaScript collapse. And the tutorial, I will give the name as JavaScript tutorial. Okay. The same thing we have to do with another topic. Suppose I am adding one more. Okay. In this card, suppose I defined as CSS collapse. And data target as, this is ID CSS collapse. And here we have to work for, and here you need to work for this collapse. Okay, everything is fine. Only the ID need to be changed. Now observe here, you can see that. So the design for this will be in this way. Accordion, it is an accordion style. You have HTML tutorial. For all of them, it is show, but all of them should not be show. Only one should be show. Then you can do one thing for all of them. You can remove only HTML tutorial should show. Here I will change as CSS tutorial. This is CSS tutorial. So this should not show. That means I will remove show. And JavaScript tutorial also should not show. So that also I will hide. Only first one will show. Then it will be in this way. I click on headings also we need to change for the buttons. So first button heading is HTML tutorial. And the second button heading, so it is JavaScript tutorial. And the third heading is, you can see here the third one, yeah. And for the third button, so heading, we will change it to CSS tutorial. So here we have CSS tutorial. Okay, that's done. So design and refresh. Here you can see now we have HTML, JavaScript, CSS. And I click on JavaScript tutorial, then automatically it will be displayed like this. CSS tutorial. So HTML tutorial. So that means others will be hidden. Only one will be displayed. This is an accordion style. You can keep any content there. You can design any content there. You can keep any content and design any content there. So it is working fine. This is the basic approach, how we design, how we configure and use it. Here, the main intention is working with collapse. How do we design a collapse? How we can configure a collapse and use the collapse. Now, because this is later used in several ways, even for designing drop downs. Suppose if I want to design a drop down, then we have to use these options regularly. Collapse like things are used regularly. Individually, we can use collapse. The first one I showed you. This is accordion style. And these are all responsive designs. That means if you go to mobile, they will fit onto mobile. They are all responsive designs actually. They are all responsive designs. They will display the content in this way. Now, similarly, now in the bootstrap components, now we have another important, if you know collapse, you can design like drop downs. Actually, in HTML, you have seen select is used for drop down. But remember, two situations are there. If you want a drop down, so for a drop down with icons, images, and some drop down with animation, you can create with bootstrap. Then use bootstrap drop down. If you want a drop down with collection of items, and those items can change dynamically. Dynamically means dynamically adding items, removing items, you can do dynamically. Then better use form select only. Don't use bootstrap drop down. Always use bootstrap drop downs mostly for navigation. That means designing a menu bar, such things okay. Such things are okay, but don't use for dynamically adding and removing items, because bootstrap drop downs will not allow to add items dynamically, remove items dynamically. Suppose you are showing some cities list, don't use bootstrap drop down, because cities list actually come from database. We have to get it and we need to update into the form. Later, if any change happened in the city, it should update here. So selection should submit there. such things you don't use bootstrap dropdowns. Only for handling certain navigations, you can use bootstrap dropdowns. Bootstrap dropdown requires a lot of classes. And by using those classes, you can create a dropdown menu. So generally websites use drop-down menu only coming from Bootstrap for toolbars. So otherwise you don't need that. You can use simple your select element which will create a drop-down. You know it is a form element which will create the drop-down and handle the drop-down. Right? We have to follow that. So now how to design this drop-down? How do we work with learn how to design drop down with toolbar and drop down with navigation bar. Toolbar is different, navigation bar also different. Navigation bars means dynamic navigation bars we can design. So how to create and configure those dynamic navigation bars, so that we will see in our next session, right? Tomorrow we will discuss about that, and tomorrow we will finish bootstrap. Then we can start working with JavaScript now. We can go into JavaScript jQuery. JavaScript jQuery, then server-side integrations, how to use Node.js, MongoDB, databases. We will go into all those topics, right? Tomorrow we will continue with this, okay? These notes I will upload. Notes I will upload.